Hello, everyone, and welcome to our IACAC presentation today. Hopefully you have attended some others, or maybe this is your first time and we welcome you. Couple of quick things to note. We have your camera and your microphone turned off. You can see us, but we cannot see you. So because of that, if you have any questions, please use the Q&A feature. You'll see a button that says Q&A. Go ahead and click that and type your question in. If you don't mind heading to iacac.org after this session is over, you can all the other sessions that are available. There are tons available for you. You can sign up for them, and you can even find recordings of sessions like this one and plenty others. But for now, I will hand it on over for our presentation on various Iowa schools.
All right. Hi, everyone. Thanks so much for joining to the Go West, Go Iowa presentation for the IACAC. I'm so glad you guys joined us. My name is Veronica McLaughlin with Drake University, and I am joined by my good friends, other Iowa institutions. I've got Molly Kramer with St. Ambrose University, Mike Melinder with the University of Iowa, and Kelly Allen with Iowa State University. And what we wanted to do for you all this evening is talk about the great opportunities that lie just one state to the west of Illinois. I know back in our country's founding when they talked about go west, you know, go find your gold, go find your land, go find your opportunity. Well, nowadays you don't have to go so far as California. You've got so many opportunities right in the state next door, some great colleges and universities for you to choose from. And we're just going to talk to you about, you know, what you can expect, what you can look forward to, and just all the really cool advantages that going to college in the state of Iowa hold for you. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Let's get this presentation started. So again, those are our panelists. That's who's going to be talking to you today. And what we're each gonna touch on one particular area of opportunity. We're gonna talk about proximity, obviously being in the state of Iowa and the advantages of being in that location hold for you. The ample internship opportunities across every industry, some amazing research opportunities for you, and then to be able to get involved in kind of all things politics because of being in the state of Iowa. And we're going to start off, we're actually going to have my friend Kelly with Iowa State University kind of kick us off, talking a little bit about proximity and also about her school in particular. Kelly, go on. Oh, I think you're muted, Kelly.
That's my normal pattern, so I do apologize. Thank you so much. Hi, everybody. Welcome for joining us this evening. We're happy you're here to chat with us and learn some more about our four great schools. As Veronica said, just one state to the west of Illinois. I have the one for proximity, and I think probably part of that is because of the four schools, Iowa State is the farthest away of the four. It's kind of a running joke that you drive to Des Moines and take a right, which is pretty accurate from the Chicago area. It's roughly 4.5 to 6 hours from the Chicago area, depending on where you're leaving from. So it is not too terribly far away. And I will borrow Mike Melinder's thing about it being the parental buffer. It is far enough away, but not too far. So should you want to get home for a homecoming or something happening in your hometown, or for your family to come for family weekend, it is doable. But it is not so easy that, hey, I'm in the neighborhood. That just doesn't happen. So it's very much a happy medium between those things, which works out really, really well for you all. The one thing too that I would mention is it also gives you the ability to get home from other ways too. Illinois is the second largest group on Iowa State's campus, which lends itself to some great things. Sharing rides to and from campus, being with other folks that know what real pizza is supposed to taste like, things like that are definitely plentiful with the students on our campus too. And we'll go ahead and switch to the next screen, Veronica. We'll talk a little bit about the aspects of Iowa State University. We're a school of, actually this needs to be updated, we're about 32,000 students total, about 28,000 undergraduates. Again, Illinois is the second biggest group. There's 50 states that are represented on campus, more than 120 some countries as well. And the one thing too is we have 6 different undergraduate colleges at Iowa State. That gives you the ability to have career services office, each one for each of the 6 colleges. They host one, if not two, career fairs per semester, sometimes for students. We bring those employers to you on campus. You don't have to travel to meet them. They come to you. And even in rough economic times too, they still come every time knowing they're going to meet great students right there on campus. One thing too that we also should point out is that some of the largest career fairs in the country happen on our campus, especially in engineering. That's the largest indoor career fair in the country, and the College of Agriculture and Life Sciences is very well regarded internationally and has some tremendous career fairs as well. And then we'll flip to the next one. I'll talk quickly when we just into the one slide prior talked about the apparel merchandising and design program being ranked number 5. I mean, who knew? The center of Iowa, yes, it's legit. That's accurate. It gives you a lot of things to look forward to for having those employers come to you. Some other aspects about our campus is that we were the first school in the Midwest to be self-report. So for students applying to us, you basically indicate your academic information yourself. We don't need a transcript as a part of that process, and you can get instant instant notification about your acceptance. It's a little different this year with the pandemic kind of wreaking havoc on taking tests as far as ACT and SAT scores. We're going test optional for this academic year, meaning that you don't have to supply that to us. Should you want to, you can, but we don't require it. That would kind of delay your notification from us to about 2 days instead of instant. There's a lot of admission scholarships too that are instant that'll start awarding those next month in October for the class of 2021 students. Big 12 athletics, lots of intramural sports as well, and the ability to study abroad on all 7 continents. Please don't be me and don't do it. I still regret that. So if you have the opportunity to take advantage of that, please do. And then the next slide, if you don't mind. That's my information. So you have any questions about things from Iowa State, that's how you can reach out to me. I should also mention too that we are a tier 1 research university. So should you want to be involved in research, you can do that as early as your freshman year. Plenty of opportunities that way too. And I'll go ahead and pass it off to Molly. It's the next one up.
Thank you, Kelly. So I'm going to chat a little bit about those internship opportunities. Iowa is a booming industry of opportunity for you as a college student. As Kelly mentioned, we are a perfect distance, meaning that we're within a 5-hour drive from some major cities, including Chicago, Kansas City, St. Louis, Minneapolis, and Omaha. This means Iowa is a central hub between these major cities, and as a student, you have access to not only these internship opportunities while you're a student in these major cities, but also job placements post-graduation. Kelly mentioned a little bit about the fairs that happen in colleges. Colleges in Iowa actually hold those career fairs, and they'll bring in companies from all of these different places that are surrounding the state of Iowa, but also across the country. We've got some major cities in the state of Iowa as well for those internship and job placements. You don't have to go very far to get a good job. And I promise Iowa is not just full of cornfields. We've got some major cities. So Des Moines, Ames, Iowa City, and the Quad Cities, conveniently where all of our colleges are located, contain some major corporations such as the University of Iowa Hospitals and Clinics, Rockwell Collins Aerospace, Principal Financial, and John Deere. John Deere is near and dear to our heart, and here in the Quad Cities where St. Ambrose is located. And like I said, we've got some major cities, and the Quad Cities, which is where Davenport, Iowa is, contains about 330,000 people, making it a popular area for corporations to have businesses at, but it's also an opportunity for students to obtain internships and jobs and stay right here in the state of Iowa as well. I talked a little bit that St. Ambrose is located in Davenport, Iowa, but I'd like to share a little bit more about St. Ambrose since we're not as big of a school. So just some buzzworthy facts. We are the Fighting Bees, so we've got lots of very fun bee puns. We have about a total of 3,000 students, so we are a small school compared to Iowa State. But what we lack in total enrollment or have a smaller size of, we definitely have lots of opportunities, like I said, in the Quad Cities for students. Since we are a small school, we really pride ourselves on that individualized education, meaning that in the classroom, you're only going to have about an average of 20 students in the class with you. And so you're going to get those interactions from professors pretty easily. We have over 60 different majors, 14 master's and 3 doctoral programs. So we are comprehensive, meaning you can stick around, grab that upper level degree pretty easily. And we are also pretty proud of the amount of varsity sports that we have on campus. 29 varsity sports. We actually just added wrestling to our repertoire. So we are also in the NAIA. It's kind of the sister to the NCAA, and NAIA allows us to offer some athletic scholarships. So being able to reward students for all that hard work that they put in already. One of my favorite ones on here to point out is that 100% of our first year students will receive financial aid from St. Ambrose University, because every single student that's admitted to St. Ambrose does receive an academic scholarship. Since we're a private institution, I definitely want to cover costs a little bit. So on our next slide here, we can go over that a little bit more in detail. As a private institution, you're going to see our sticker prices a little bit higher, but our academic scholarships will make up for that. And those are, the academic scholarships range from $13,000 to full tuition, and that's solely based off of your GPA. And sometimes we're going to need a test score, but we are test optional this year, so you can receive a scholarship from us based off of that. We also have alumni scholarships, diversity scholarships, Catholic scholarships, and like I said, we offer athletic scholarships, and we also offer fine arts scholarships. And of course, we accept the FAFSA and all of the federal aid, so definitely makes it one of those most affordable places to go to school, and we happen to be in one of those major cities to obtain those jobs and internships as well. And I'd like to encourage you to continue your journey and talk or contact us with any questions that you may have, but also just to start the application process. You'll see there our application is pretty easy. We just need your high school transcripts, and test scores are optional this year, and to send or to come and see us for a visit, whether that be virtual or in person, we are accepting those. So that's a little bit about St. Ambrose and why we're one of the schools in the state of Iowa that I encourage you to attend. I will flip it over to, I believe, Mike to talk about research.
All right, thanks, Molly. At the beginning, Veronica definitely talked about people seeking gold when they were heading west. And I think she meant black and gold at the University of Iowa. But anyway, I think that research plays a pretty prominent role on the University of Iowa campus. Having 200 different areas of study on our campus allows for nearly 1 in 3 undergrads to participate in research opportunities. Having programs in business, engineering, education, our College of Liberal Arts and Sciences, law, medicine, dentistry, nursing, pharmacy, and the College of Public Health allows us to have a really wide variety of academic programs, which afford students a really great opportunity to participate in research. Iowa is a Tier 1 research institution, but we're also the small Big Ten university. So the total enrollment at Iowa, undergrad and grad, is about 32,000, so about 22,000 undergrads and about 10,000 grad students at Iowa. On the next slide, I think what really sets the University of Iowa apart is Iowa City. So our location, as Kelly alluded to at the beginning, all 4 of our schools are really close to Illinois. We're just right next door. So the University of Iowa, located in Iowa City, is about 3.5 hours from downtown Chicago and about 3 hours from most suburban Chicago locations. I'm from the St. Louis area. It's about 4.5 hours from St. Louis. So Iowa City is ranked every year as one of the top college towns in the country. So it is a great place to not only go to school, but also to live. The downtown area is literally right across the street from campus, as you can see in the photo. And having, I think, our world-class hospitals right on campus makes research, as I mentioned earlier, a really prominent thing. So students have opportunities to do all the different job shadowing and participate in programs like that on campus. Student life at Iowa is pretty vibrant. There are over 500 different student organizations. Featured in this photo is our dance marathon program. It's the second largest student fundraiser in the nation. A lot of students really find this to be one of the most rewarding things they do during their undergrad experience at Iowa. In addition to that, there are hundreds of arts performances in areas of music and dance and theater and just tons of different things students can do. I mentioned Iowa City being across the street from campus. There are over 100 locally owned businesses where students can go try all kinds of different food and different types of coffees and just all the fun things that students like to go do. And then we've got 24 different varsity sports. The Hawkeyes compete in the Big Ten Conference. So if you have never been to a sporting event at Iowa, I encourage you to do so once everyone is able to do that again. And a little bit about me. So there's some contact info for me, but as well as our admissions office. So I'm one of 3 counselors that primarily focus on the Chicagoland area. We have 2 other counselors that focus on the remainder of Illinois. So there are 5 people in our office who focus the majority of their efforts just on Illinois students. So we are available whenever you need something from us. So reach out when you can, and I'll turn it over to Veronica.
All right, thanks, Mike. Okay, so I've got the last talking point, and that is how amazing of opportunities you have in the political arena when you go to college in the state of Iowa. Obviously, you're going to go beyond the classroom. And if you'd like to be a political science major, you know, at Drake, we have law, politics, and society. We are going to be starting a dedicated American politics major coming next year, which is going to be a very unique program. But it's more than just being in the classroom. And in the state of Iowa, you're going to have opportunities to work with all of these organizations, the White House, the Senate, Iowa State Legislature, major media organizations. You're going to be able to get involved in the Iowa caucus. And as you know, every 4 years, that is something that is just turns our entire state. You don't just have to be in the state capital of Des Moines, which is where Drake University is located, but all across the state, there's a lot of campaigning happening. All of the presidential candidates are stopping through all the major towns, all the major universities. And it's just a lot of fun, and it gets you a lot of incredible experience if you're interested in kind of having that front row seat and getting involved in those campaigning opportunities. We have a lot of government agencies that you can get involved in. The Iowa Historical Society, the Human Rights Commission, state departments, the natural resources, and then obviously a lot of advocacy organizations as well. So if that's something that interests you, those opportunities are available for you in all of the major institutions across the state. At Drake University in particular, though, you know, we're very fortunate to be in the state capital of Des Moines, Iowa. And we have students interning with senators on a daily basis. When I talk about with the Iowa caucus and the campaigning that happens, especially around our university, every single presidential candidate came to Drake's campus. CNN set up shop literally on our campus. That's our Sheslow Auditorium. Kamala Harris that's where she had her town hall to announce her candidacy for presidency. We hold many presidential, vice presidential debates, and lots of, again, opportunities for you to have that front row seat, to meet the candidates, to get that really hands-on experience. If you are interested in the campaigning aspect, we've got students doing that, not just in the election year, but through, you know, there are major elections happening every 3 to 4 years that you can get involved in. Students are actually doing the work in politics. It's not just internships or legislative clerkships. Many students are getting paid to work in the political world while they're still taking classes at Drake University. So it's a really unique situation because politics are super accessible in Des Moines, and Drake University is the largest 4-year university in the city of Des Moines. So that's going to give you that, again, that one-on-one personal experience to work with those candidates. And, you know, Drake offers not just if you're interested in politics, but we have over 100 undergraduate majors to choose from. We are known for, obviously, political science, law, politics, and society, but we're also known for our pharmacy program. We're one of the top actuarial science programs in the country. Journalism, we have one of the top-ranked journalism schools in the country. And then we also have just an outstanding business program at Drake. And I know when Molly talked about the internship opportunities, obviously, we have lots of industry right in our backyard in the city of Des Moines. And you're going to have a lot of those ample opportunities for internships, research. We are on the small to mid size, so we're just about 3,000 undergraduate students with about 5,000 total. So we do have a pretty robust graduate program at Drake University. Our student to faculty ratio, 10-to-1. Every class that you take at Drake is taught by a professor. So you'll never have a class where you're taught by a teacher's assistant. You're going to get to know your professors right off the bat, and you're going to build on those relationships for all 4 years. Your average class size at Drake is about 21 students in the classroom. So it is that very personalized, kind of intimate educational opportunity and experience for you. But we have a lot of fun too. And even though we're a smaller size for a student body, we offer big school opportunities as far as Division I sports. We have 150 student clubs and organizations. And this picture, what you're seeing with all these students covered head to toe in paint, we have some really great traditions at Drake University. So the Drake Relays is the second largest track relay event in the country. And that walkway is called Painted Street. There's a lot of fun for students and all the student clubs and organizations to get a chance to paint on Painted Street, and then it turns into the world's largest paint fight, which is what you're seeing in that top picture with all the students covered head to toe in paint. Just a lot of fun traditions. One thing too is 70% of our students, so we talk about, going out of state for college, and 70% of our student body population, that's exactly what they do. And so they're not from the state of Iowa. And the nice thing about that is that, you won't be going to college with a bunch of students whose parents live 30 minutes down the road, because typically what happens when you go to a college where most of your classmates live nearby is on the weekends, campus turns into a ghost town. That doesn't happen at Drake. So because 70% of our student body population is from outside of the state of Iowa, students stick around on the weekend. And what that means, there's so many fun things to do. And again, talking about the city of Des Moines, it's the fastest growing city in the Midwest currently. Forbes magazine has consistently ranked the city of Des Moines in the top 5 best cities in the entire country for young working professionals. It has a thriving economy. It was just recently ranked the #1 minor league sports market in the country. We've got the Iowa Cubs right in our backyard. We've got the Des Moines Wild and the Des Moines Wolves. Des Moines, Iowa has the second highest ranked farmers market in the entire country, second only to Seattle. It's a very artsy city, it's a foodie city. And so as a Drake student, everybody sticks around on the weekends, and you have so many fun things to do right in your backyard. So lots of really cool opportunities. Again, not just within the political arena, which is very unique and special, but just about anything that you can envision. And I say anything that you could think about for your college experience when you visualize what that's going to look like for you. You're going to find that at Drake University. You're just not going to get lost in the shuffle. And I would be more than happy to talk to you more about the opportunities at Drake. Our application is live currently. We're on the Common App. We also have our own application, ample scholarship opportunities, and locked-in tuition rates. So you're never going to have tuition increase on you all 4 years that you're there. All kinds of great stuff that I'd love to share more information with you. We have plenty of virtual events that you can go to our website, check out what kind of virtual events we might have. And we did just start bringing students to campus. So we've been taking our time with that as far as prospective students visiting campus. I'm happy to announce just 2 weeks ago, we've started allowing visitors to come in person. It's very safe, very physically distanced, wearing the masks, but you're able to actually walk around campus, check out the buildings, meet some professors and admissions counselors. So we're excited to finally be able to bring students to campus again. So that's what I have for you. And I was doing the slideshow, and so I wasn't able to see if there were any questions in the Q&A, but I definitely want to make sure that you all have our contact information. You can see our email addresses are on this slide. And I think this is maybe where we can go ahead and open it up for any questions. Does anybody see the Q&A?
No takers as of yet.
All right. Come on, ask anything. So I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing my screen. So let's see. Well, who after they were done talking with their presentation thought, oh, I forgot to mention something?
There's always plenty that we forget. I'll ask a question. So Veronica and Kelly, I know that you both have kids that are going through this process of looking at colleges and things like that. So any advice you could pass along to students in the process right now, or parents?
It's a great question.
It is a great question.
I would just say definitely, to Molly's point, and I'm glad she had that financial part of for St. Ambrose, because don't ever let the sticker price of a private university scare you away, because there's a really good chance you're never going to pay anywhere near. So Drake University, our merit-based scholarship, if you get accepted, starts at $21,000 a year. You're guaranteed $21,000 a year in scholarship. So just know that many private, especially us mid-tier private universities, are going to give ample merit-based scholarships just for you getting accepted. So don't ever let that sticker price scare you away, because there's a good chance you're not going to pay anywhere near that. That's my biggest piece of advice.
Yeah, and for me, I would say the one thing to do is I have a son who is a senior, and I'm like that balance of being the mom, but also being what I am as far as the profession. Trying to stay on him to keep looking at the websites of the schools that you're interested in. We, like other schools, have slowly started offering in-person visits, but they're pretty minimal, but they happen. So keep looking at those websites to see those things, because guys, current seniors really lost the opportunity to see places over spring break, because that's when everything started to hit. We had a whole week full of visits scheduled that had to get canceled. So don't lose sight of, doing those things virtually, and keep your eye on when those, in-person things will come back, because they will. As to how big or how many or when, that's an ongoing, this whole thing is very, very fluid. So don't feel like that's the end of the story, because it's not. We're creating things on each of our campuses all the time. Things are changing as fast as we can make them happen. So just keep your eye on those details that you want to take advantage of that you didn't have a chance to because of everything happening the way it did with the pandemic. And don't stress about the test scores, because many of us have gone test optional. So don't fret about those sorts of things. But if you have those questions, ask. We're all based here in the Chicago area. We're pretty friendly people. We're doing this together because we like each other, because we want you to know more about Iowa. So we're not scary people. So reach out if you have questions. There is no such thing as a stupid question. There isn't, because every question has a reason that it's being asked, and we'll do the best to get that answer for you.
I would add to what Kelly said. I know everything in students' lives right now is all virtual, but don't be afraid of the virtual visit option either. At least it would give you that bridge of getting the initial information, talking through all of it, and then getting to see campus when it's convenient or when those schools are allowing campus visits. Sounds like all of us at this time have some sort of on-campus visit opportunity for you, but we all offer virtual visit opportunities. And I would bet you every single one of us has an online tour that you could take as well. So if you're just looking for the basic information of what that school could offer you, I know at St. Ambrose, our virtual and in-person visits are allowing students to meet with coaches and faculty members and admissions staff and all of those things that they would get normally on an in-person campus tour. We're doing the same thing virtually. So don't be afraid of the virtual opportunity. It's not always the best in comparison, but if it would at least get you the ability to start narrowing down your schools based off of offerings and what the initial information is, it's a great place to start.
All right, and I'll add one piece of advice. My daughter is a high school senior right now, so I'm going through this as a parent as well. And my son is a senior in college. So I've done this once and I'm about to go through it one more time. But students, I think my biggest piece of advice is this is your process. So make sure that you are the one who is, I joke that, you're driving the bus. One of your parents can be a passenger with you, but you're in charge of this process. You need to be the one who is sending out the emails, who is making the phone calls, who's setting up the Zoom meetings with the counselors, things like that.
Who's writing the essays? That's the big one.
Writing the essay, all of that. Yes. The language that I would use and the language my daughter used, probably different. So just make sure that you drive this process. So we got one question on what is the best way to stand out when applying? So who wants to tackle that one?
I love hearing from the student. So to go on what Mike said, drive the bus, email me. Send me a text message asking a question about the process. Be ahead of the game. That's not just in the application process, but the whole admissions cycle during your senior year. Reach out to us, ask the questions, take the initiative to go and find the information because a lot of times we don't know that you're looking for it until you reach out to us. St. Ambrose's application is pretty straightforward. We just need your transcript. So the application process and standing out, do good in school. That's pretty much what I got for you. That whole kind of thing might be better answered by one of the other counselors here. They might have a more rigorous application process.
Well, and at Iowa State, our application is all highly objective. There's nothing subjective as a part of the process. So there are no essays, there's no recommendation letters, anything like that. It's basically the formula that Iowa State and University of Iowa uses is kind of a mathematical representation of your high school career. That gives us an idea of what you've done in your high school classes and test scores if you have them in your GPA. So I would agree with what Molly said. Do your best. That's the biggest thing that you can do. And same thing that she just said too. Ask questions, ask early, ask often. Let us know what we can do to help you because this is nothing mysterious to us, but it's a brand new process for you potentially. So just ask.
And I'll add, as far as, so I think are we all test optional this year, I'm assuming?
For this year.
Okay, all right. And at Drake, we've been test optional for a while, but we're giving students an option this year. If you're not going to submit an essay or SAT or ACT score, you can submit either an essay, since it's not a requirement of our application, or you can do an interview with your admissions counselor, possibly me. And it's so that does matter as far as how, when we holistically review your application, it does matter. So the essay, going back to the essay, I was an English teacher for a while. And so if you're going to write an essay and you're going to submit it, and this is a document for your future, I highly suggest you capitalize your I's. You have somebody else look through it to make sure you're using the proper form of your or their. Again, just take it seriously, and definitely have some other eyes take a look at it because I do grade those essays when you're using that as a replacement for an SAT or ACT score, it does matter. And then if you choose to do an interview, and that's kind of just, it's a conversation you're going to have with me. I'm not trying to stump you. It's situational type questions, but, just really being open and just kind of honest of who you are as a student and as a person is just going to really help in the essay score. And just, the more I can get to know you. And to what, Molly and Kelly said, really, the more we can get to know you as a student throughout this whole process, it's going to help not only when you're applying to the school, but I'll tell you right now, for private universities, when you get your financial aid packet and maybe you would like a little extra, and there's, another school's giving you some extra money, and at private universities, there are some conversations that can be had. And if I know you, because I've gotten to know you through the process, it's going to help you, because I tend to go to bat for those students that I've gotten to know along the way. So keep that in mind for sure. What about you, Mike? You got any tips?
It kind of goes along with the essay. And when you're writing something, you don't have to write the essay that your parents think you're supposed to write. Don't write what you think the universities want to hear. If there's a specific prompt, answer the prompt. If not, if you're weird, you can write a weird essay. If you're funny, you can write a funny essay. If you're not funny, do not try to write the funny essay. So I think that parents have this mindset that it has to be the very formulaic introduction, couple of paragraphs, and a nifty conclusion, and that's the formula that you need to do. And that's not always the case. So the very safe formulaic essay, while it might meet what they're looking for, it doesn't always stand out. And the student's question was really, what can make you stand out? And I think that being open and honest and vulnerable in your essay, and truly telling your story so that the person reading it can get to know you just this much, I think that's a really good way to stand out.
We were talking about cost and stuff earlier too, and I think the one thing we should mention is that the FAFSA form becomes live tomorrow. So for all of you seniors, get on that sooner rather than later, and get working on that, because many of us do have deadlines for priority consideration that form needs to be in the system. So take opportunities to do that. If you can get it done by Halloween, sweet, then you're done. You have to worry about it. I know our deadline is December 1st for that, and for some of our scholarships as well. So take this time that you've already applied and maybe been accepted to move on to the next phase, which is going to be the financial aid and that whole piece of the puzzle too. And that's also a great time to ask questions of us. If you've got those, fire those messages to us. We'll be happy to help you out with those as well.
And even if you haven't been accepted to all of your schools, file the FAFSA, include the schools on it, the ones that you're hoping to be accepted to, or you are eventually going to be accepted to, and of course the ones you are already. You can list up to 10 schools. The big thing is filing the FAFSA is something that should be done hopefully in the month of October if you're able to, because if you don't and you wait and you wait and you wait, like Kelly said, you may miss a priority deadline, but you're also just delaying the financial aid package from the schools that are coming to you. St. Ambrose, we get ours out end of November, early December is the first batch, and then it goes from time of applying for the FAFSA after that. So if you wait until February to file your FAFSA, well, you're probably not going to get a financial aid package from not only St. Ambrose, from all the other schools that you're looking at, probably March at the earliest. And then it's just delaying your inevitable making that final decision. So when we say, hey, FAFSA opens up tomorrow, like Kelly said, try to get it done by Halloween. We're just trying to help you get ahead of the process, because that first round, if you do file in the month of October, it takes a hot minute to get to the schools for us to create financial aid packages. So it's just setting yourself up to be able to move through that process a little bit quicker and have a lot more time to make that final decision.
Yeah, 5 hours and 52 minutes from now, I think you can, super exciting.
Yeah, and as seniors, make it your part-time job to look for outside scholarships too. Take a few hours every weekend, make that something that you do. Fastweb.com, that's a reputable college search scholarship search service. Your community, your high school district, parents, employers, all those places. You know, you might think, well, it's only $500. Well, a couple of $500 scholarships spends the same as one $2,000 scholarship. So take the time to put in the work to do those and see what comes back to you, because that's another piece of the puzzle. I think that so many scholarships go unclaimed because people don't put in the time to potentially get themselves in consideration for that. So make that something else. I know senior year, it's another thing we're saying, but you'll thank us come next spring. So take the time, especially in these couple of months, to look for those scholarships and follow through and apply for them.
All right, we have just a few more minutes. Was there any final questions?
We're very helpful in the state of Iowa, if you can't tell. We wanted to help you make the senior year as easy as possible. So never hesitate to reach out to us if you guys do have questions, not only about our specific universities, but we're happy to help you through the college process as well.
Yeah, and that's something that when my son was going through the process, you know, obviously doing what I do for a living, it would be like very tempting for me every moment of every day. So how's that college search process going? How's the college? And I know that students, I hear that a lot, that your parents are very involved in the process. And I think that one piece of advice is to set aside maybe one day a week, Sunday evening, something like that, where you're going to set aside maybe 30 or 40 minutes to talk about college stuff. That way, it's not a constant every single day. How was your day? So how's your college search process going? Because as parents, we're very tempted to do those kinds of things. So if you can set aside some dedicated time and then do, like Kelly said, like this is your homework, is your college homework is to have a little bit of an update ready for them. Because if you, how I mentioned, driving the bus, managing this process, if you have an update for your family, whoever your college guru is that's helping you with this stuff, and just talk to them about it. And if you bring it up, they won't constantly ask you about it day in and day out.
Scout's honor.
And I would just want to say one final thought as far as just try to enjoy the process. I know it can feel overwhelming. I know it can feel stressful. I know there's a lot of your friends that are comparing things. Maybe some of your friends have already got there, they know where they're going to go. They're so excited. And maybe you still have no idea. And you know what? That's okay. And you're going to find the right college for you. There is the right fit for everybody. And this is a really fun, exciting time. So try not to lose sleep over it. Enjoy the process. It's a lot of fun. You only get to go through this college search process at this time in your life once. And we're all here. I always say we don't make commission off of you coming to our schools, right? So literally our primary role is to make sure you have all the information you need to make the best college choice for you. And we're just simply here to help. And we're going to be excited at the end of the day. If you pick one of our schools, great. If you pick another school, that's okay too. But we just hope you head to Iowa. That's the main thing. So. All right, you guys. Well, I think that about does it.
Great. Well, I want to, on behalf of IACAC and StriveScan, thank you to Molly, Veronica, Kelly, and Mike for spending your time with us and giving us a lot of great information. Just want to share one little thing for everybody. A quick thank you again for everybody who tuned in. There will be a quick survey after you close out. It's just 4 questions, so please let us know how things went, how we can improve. Head over to iacac.org. That's where you can see the whole schedule. Sign up for some more sessions because there's plenty of great sessions that are available to you, both about colleges and just the college exploration process. And finally, iacac.org is also where you'll find recordings of this and also other sessions available. So thank you to everyone. Hope you have a great rest of the day, and also tune in for more.
All right. Thanks, you guys.
Thank
Take care.
you.
Have a great night. Stay well.